Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine McCoy and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for clicking in to drop by, but if you are a returner, it is always nice to have you back. This is another video in the series that I am doing for J15, aka Founders Day, where I am reflecting on my journey in AKA. And in this video, we are going to be talking about something that's pretty important. What is it that I did to become the International Second Vice President? So we're going to be talking about that entire process. It was a lot, but before we get into this video, if you are not yet subscribed, that is okay. You're going to take your finger, your cursor, going to go to the bottom right-hand corner. There is a big red button that says subscribe. Click that, turn on notifications, and you'll be notified of the rest of the videos that I make for this series. Let's get into this journey of eventually becoming the International Second Vice President. It's not a position you can just walk up into. You have to run for it. You have to campaign. So the first question though you need to ask is, do I even want to be the International Second Vice President? And the question was not being asked by me. The question was being asked to me by other people around me. If you remember a little bit from the last video, the video where I was talking about my new member years, I went to the Leadership Fellows program. And it was at the Leadership Fellows program that I was just exposed to so much beyond the chapter level. I was exposed to regional and international leadership in a way that I had never had before. So I was able to meet the then International Second Vice President at the time. She was asking me, have you ever thought of running for International Second Vice President? It's the first day. I have not thought about that. I'm just happy to be here. I have members of the Leadership Fellows Committee asking me if I've ever thought about it. Again, I am just happy to be here. So it was not anything that I personally had thought about or been planning for. It was something that other people were seeing in me. Leadership Fellows program ends, I go home, and I'm sitting there thinking, I did say I would think about it. International Second Vice President. What would that be like? If you didn't know, I am a legacy, specifically my mom's legacy. So I was able to go up to her and ask her with all of her AKA knowledge, because she has seen so many different international second vice presidents, so many different international presidents, many different international programs, and she just has a lot of experience in the sorority. And I felt safe and comfortable talking to her about this thing that I was considering doing. And one of the best reassurances that my mom gave me is that she would be with me the entire process. And I love my mom very much for that. She is literally one of the most important people in my corner. So I go up to her, I ask her what it entails being the International Second Vice President. I obviously also go back to the then International Second Vice President, KCA Coleman, to ask her about what her experience has been and what I could look forward to. But also, remember, at this time, COVID is happening. One of the things that we talked about, especially Casey and I, was, yeah, your experience is gonna be really different from mine because we're in the middle of a pandemic. In fact, I would say that it is something that gave me a little extra oomph of like, this is something that I would definitely like to be able to tackle in some way, because I'm seeing how the pandemic is affecting everyone. And I want to be a part of creating the solutions that will help Alpha Kappa Alpha get through the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, obviously, Alpha Kappa Alpha has been here for over 100 years. I knew, of course, it was going to be able to get through COVID-19, but what is it that I could do at an international level to help with that? So that is what I was thinking at the time, and eventually I said, you know what? I want to do it. I want to run for International Second Vice President of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So when I made that decision, I then had to put some things in action. And the first thing is going to be becoming a candidate. I'm not going to tell you all the ins and outs of becoming a candidate because really it's a lot of paperwork. But in general, Becoming a candidate means that you are sitting down, filling out this paperwork, talking about what it is that you think you have that makes you ready to be a candidate and an international leader for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So you talk about what positions you have held. You talk about a purpose or a mission statement that you would like to have. You talk about the people that you have in your corner supporting you, including your chapter, and you just do so many different pages of paperwork that eventually you turn in. A group looks at it and they says, yes, this is a good person who could potentially lead our sorority. And then you become a certified candidate. And that's paperwork that you got to turn in December. And turn that in, I became a certified candidate. So that was a very big thing for me, because as a certified candidate, it meant that I was able to go around to regional conference and say, I am a certified candidate. Even now, as I'm thinking about the 2020 North Atlantic Regional Conference, I am remembering how anytime that I was introduced, it would always be followed up with certified candidate for international second vice president. So that was something that obviously helps you get your name out to all of the members who will hopefully one day be voting for you at Boulé. And it was nice being able to see my official Leadership Fellows picture up there, so everyone knew my face, everyone knew who I was, and also the fact that I had not one, but 2 regional leadership positions at the North Atlantic Regional Conference definitely helped me out. So I was a certified candidate. But now we have to talk about what actually goes into running an international campaign. The most important thing was networking. This is an international campaign. So you will obviously have to be able to move beyond your chapter and your supervising graduate chapter. That was something that I knew had to be done. And I am so thankful that, in part, because my family has moved so much, my network of AKAs around the United States was vast. And it wasn't just vast because of my connection, but also my mom's connections. So because of her, because of the connection that I had also built with the members in my time since becoming a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, that was something that helped me be able to spread beyond Lambda Upsilon and Psi Omega. Because obviously, if you're running for an international position, your chapter is going to support you, and as an undergraduate, my supervising graduate chapter is going to support me. There's a lot more chapters than that in the sorority. At the time, there were 1,046, I believe, chapters in the sorority, and I needed to be able to reach across chapters and across regions. So, notable North Atlantic region, it's a pretty big region, but also being able to move beyond that is important. And because I had lived in 5 of the 10 different regions, I had a very good network of people that I could count on, call on, and help me with my campaign. And what does campaigning entail? Well, think about a presidential campaign. And we are going to have one literally this year, so we are about to get very well acquainted with it. You have the candidate going all over the states to have essentially campaign rallies. We don't do quite like that, but it is similar in where you get a couple 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what the chapter will allow you to do an elevator pitch of why you believe that you would be a good candidate and why they should give you your vote for international second vice president. So I made a little 3-minute elevator speech. At the end of my elevator speech, I always invited people to ask me questions, and I memorized this. This was something that I got very good at being able to recite, and I also had to put a lot of practice into it though. You think, it's just 3 minutes. 3 minutes can be a lot of information to remember, but it's also speaking from the heart and speaking about your own experiences, which I feel definitely helped me. So, you're probably wondering, okay, so you were going around, you were speaking to chapters. How many chapters did you speak to? I spoke to 171 chapters out of 1,046-ish. That's a lot. That is something that never ever would have happened pre-COVID, where you're not able to go to the chapter meetings virtually. The reason why I was able to get so much FaceTime with the members is because my Saturdays, my Sundays, packed to the brim. I would be speaking to 3 on like a light day, all the way up to 7 different chapters. So they would invite me in, they would tell me what time I need to be there for my specific portion or other, because sometimes it was also a group of us coming in and speaking about why it is that we want to be International Second Vice President, International Treasurer, any of the other positions that were up for grabs. So I would have my Google Calendar all set up. I would have the Zooms dropped into all the little boxes. I would be sitting in front of the computer. I had my little ring light. I was dressed from the waist up, and I was ready. And I did that for 171 chapters. Wild. Sometimes I look back and it's like, wow, I did 171 chapters from April to July. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And obviously I get better over time. So my first time speaking to chapters, I was definitely looking at my speech a lot more. By the end of it, it was something that I could just rattle off. And you're probably wondering like, oh, who are the 171 people that you were speaking to? Big chapters, small chapters, North Atlantic region, South Atlantic region, Far Western region, international region. I literally spoke to a chapter literally in Tokyo. It did not matter who it was. If they invited me to be at their chapter meeting, I said yes, no matter what. And that was something that's important to me because I wanted for the members to know that I am available and I'm not someone, because I come from a small chapter. I understand that, especially when running an international campaign, you might prioritize the larger chapters that have more votes. I mean, we're not dumb, we understand how numbers work, but also I come from a small chapter. So if a small chapter asks me to be there, I'm going to give it the same amount of effort as I'm going to give a 300-person chapter. Doesn't matter 30, doesn't matter if it's 300, I will be there. And that was something that I'm very proud of myself for sticking to over the course of the campaign season. So now campaigning is over, we're getting closer and closer to Boulé. Boulé is when the elections happen. Now obviously, COVID. We're not getting together. We are still not getting together at this time. The final thing to do was get ready for the speech, the big speech, the speech that is the final one asking, give me your vote. So that speech was recorded. And I'm actually really thankful that they didn't have us do it, live, because then that just opens up the world of technology not working right. So we had to get my entire video ready. My family, we went and we bought a background set off of Amazon. I had my makeup done, hair done. I got a nice new outfit that I wore that day. And we took so many takes. There were so many takes. We ended up using the first one, as I said we would. So honestly, we could have stopped, but it ended up being like a 2-hour filming session. We ended up also moving the background set to another place when the sunlight started acting weird. It was a lot, but we got through it. We sent the video in. The day of Boulé came, and we're sitting there, we're watching everyone else's pre-recorded videos. We see my pre-recorded video, and we're like, oh my God, that's me. So we watch it, and then they opened up the voting. They opened up the voting for delegates, and my mom was able to vote for me as a delegate of her chapter, and then we're just waiting. Nothing to do but wait and worry and just like sweat because you're so anxious about the past like 6 months coming together in the way that you want them to. And luckily for me, they did. I ended up getting an email saying, congratulations, you have been elected as the International Second Vice President. We look forward to seeing you online at this Zoom link for your initiation. It was so good. That was a good moment. That was a good feeling being able to have. It's like, oh my God, I did it. Everything's coming together. So I did my little initiation ceremony and it was beautiful. Everything went really well. And that started the next phase of my AKA journey of actually being the International Second Vice President. So that is all I have for this video. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, go ahead and put those below. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I love you. And give this video a like. Make sure that you're subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.